I was flabbergasted that I had to do my own research, that I hadn't been taught this in high school, I hadn't been taught this in my freshman year of college. Nobody had ever said to me, these are real issues. These are real mental health issues. These are real medical issues that you may develop at this age. But you know what? There's help available. And you also know that if the earlier that you seek help for a mental health issue, the more likely recovery is possible. We don't really know what brings on mental health issues. We don't really know why it's this age group that has the highest prevalence. What we do know is that mental health issues are a combination of biological and social factors. It is a combination of genetics and biology and our social environment that will generally bring on a mental health issue. So for those of us in transition age in high school and college, transitioning to college, whatever it may be, our brains are changing. We're also in new environments. We're also experiencing loss, transition, new things that we have to contend with and balance, new relationships, life changes, the time that, heck, we need to figure out what we're doing with our life. We're becoming an adult. What does that mean? So some sort of combination of that biology and the social factors is what brings on these mental health issues. But nobody had told me this. And I was mad. I got really mad. And so I went back to college. I took the midterms I had missed. Took my final exams. Went back home that summer, did a little bit of research, went back to school my sophomore year. And at that point, I started talking to some folks in my counseling center and said, I want to do something about this on my campus. For some reason, there was an environment at Bryan's campus where people weren't talking about mental health. And I feel that here on my campus too. And that just must be unique. I don't know, these are real issues. They affect a lot of people. Of course people talk about it. So I just want to do something here on campus to change the conversation, to change the culture, so that students like Bryan know that they're not alone, know that there's help out there, and get that help before it's too late. All right, we're out of mic now. That's interesting. How did you get this one? Huh. I'll scream if I have to.
We always have these issues, don't we? Something just happened. It's coming on, I think. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
All right, let's try that again.
That was fun. Okay. So where was I? So I got mad. I wanted to change the culture on my campus. I reached out to some folks, national mental health organizations, my counseling center, and said, what can I do? Why is it that we don't talk about mental health on my campus, even though a lot of us are affected? I've seen Prozac advertised on TV. At the time, it was AOL Instant Messenger. Facebook hadn't even come out yet. But people started talking about mental health. But nobody was really giving us a place to use our voice, or to share our story, or to let people like Bryan know that there's others on campus who are dealing with these issues. Or there are other people who are actually living really successfully with mental health issues. Because all we see is what's in the news and what's in the media of bad things that mentally ill people do, quote unquote. But if 25% of us are dealing with a mental health issue at any given time, then there are a lot of people who are doing okay, who are taking care of themselves, who are eating right, who are sleeping right, who are journaling, whatever they need to do, in therapy, taking their medications, whatever it is for them, they're living successfully with their mental health issue, and Bryan needed to know that that could have been him. He told us a week before he died that he didn't want to be working at McDonald's for the rest of his life. Which was kind of funny because he wasn't working at McDonald's when he said it. But what he knew, what he thought he knew, was that having this thing called schizoaffective disorder must mean that there's no hope. That there was no way that he could one day own a tall black building, or one day be the next Tony Kornheiser. And that's what he thought he knew. For all we know, Tony Kornheiser may have a mental health issue. He's not talking about it. So I wanted to create a place on campus where students knew that there is hope, and there's a chance that you can live the successful life you've always wanted to live, and it's okay to have a mental health issue. So I created a student group on my campus. I walked into the Office of Student Life and I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but it happens to be a week before school starts. How do I start a student group? Guy there said, all right, get a table, sit down on a student activities fair, the first couple of weeks of school. Freshmen will come in, you'll get new people signing up for a group. I said, great. So student activities fair rolls around. All these groups around me have these tables and they're rotating people in and out. I sat alone at a table for 8.5 hours in the pouring rain, and it was not fun. But I got people to sign up for this new mental health group on campus. Planned a meeting 2 weeks later where 3 people showed up. Myself, my roommate, and my roommate's friend. It was an auspicious beginning, let me tell you. But I decided, you know, what the heck? This is something that's really important to me. This is something that's affected me, and I'm pretty sure it's important to other people. So let's do something. We planned a first event, which was a coffee house. We worked with a fraternity on campus. We cleaned out their house. We brought in a cappella groups. We brought in food vendors. People came. They paid $3 to get the food, listen to the a cappella groups, pick up the materials about mental health that were all around the house. And we donated it to a local adolescent ward of a psychiatric hospital nearby. We had 85 people show up. That was the first indication to me that this is something that might take off. This is something that is indeed important to other people. Fast forward a year and a half, by the end of my senior year, we had a group of 45 active individuals. We had the support of our university president, support of our dean of students, our vice president, provost president of student affairs. We had over 250 people on our listserv. We had had 290 show up to a benefit run, a Stomp Out Stigma run we had held on campus. We had created a space on campus where students could come, could share their stories, but more importantly, take their experiences and do something about it. The role of the group was to educate our peers about mental health, to let them know the signs and symptoms of different mental health issues, where on campus we can get help, and encourage an open dialogue so that we all had a space to share our stories. One of the most important lessons I learned was that students really want to get involved in this. When I created a space for other people to share their stories, they came. They sat on panel discussions. They were keynote speakers at our university. The power of sharing your story goes far above and beyond what you could ever imagine. The fact that I can get up here and talk about Brian and share his story helps me so much in my grieving. And so whether your story is about grief, or it's about your own mental health disorder, your own mental health issue that you're facing, a friend or a family member, or the fact that you may not actually have a story but you just care, sharing it will mean the world. So I graduated. I decided, heck, this is something that's still important to me and I want to do something about it. Decided to start a nonprofit. I'd been a psychology and sociology major in school. I knew nothing about nonprofits. What the heck? So I ventured on my own. In the summer right after I graduated, I connected with a law firm who helped me with some pro bono legal services to incorporate this organization called Active Minds. 7 years later, less than 7 years later, we've grown from that one group at the University of Pennsylvania where I was an undergrad to 254 chapters in 44 states across the United States, plus some in Canada, plus one in Australia. Most of our chapters are on college and university campuses. We do have some in high schools as well. The goal of each chapter is the same goal of that first chapter at Penn, to utilize the student voice to empower students to change the conversation about mental health on campus. We have a national staff, a national office in DC. I'm a boss. I'm a boss of 6 people. We have 3 interns as well. I've been my own boss since I was 22. We have national programs that are all run by our chapters through our students to raise mental health awareness on college campuses. We have an annual conference. We have a website, activeminds.org. We have Facebook groups. We're all over the place. We've become the voice in student mental health. We've been on CNN, Newsweek. I've been in Glamour. Our students have won awards. They've been in local papers and national papers as well. We have created a space for students to share their story, and that's why I'm here today. What have I done and what have I learned? One of the things that I've learned through this work is the importance of balance. It's easy to lose sight of that when we're a student. It's easy to think, oh my God, I just need to work. Oh my God, I can't go out Friday night because I need to get this paper done. Or, oh, screw school. I'm just here to have fun. It's very easy to go one side or the other. One of the things that I've really learned is in order to be a successful advocate, in order to successfully support the people I'm working with and the people I'm working for, is I have to support myself.